Why won't religion go away? Consider this a follow-up to my video from a few years ago titled Why Socialism Won't Go Away, where I talk about philosophy's role in politics and how philosophy shapes the culture. And what made me want to talk about this today was Kanye West's recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, where, as you can see, it almost has 7 million views already, and a lot of people seem to be rather impressed by Kanye West and what he has to say. Whether you like Kanye West or not, it's impossible to deny the fact that he does have an influence on the culture, and add to that, he now has political ambitions. Now, whether or not he'll be successful is another question. Nevertheless, this interview is worthy of discussion because I think Kanye West may be indicative of where the culture is heading. And I'm going to begin by bringing up Big Papa Peacock. Now, in my video, Why Socialism Won't Go Away, I mainly discuss Leonard Peacock's book, The Ominous Parallels, but in this video, I'm going to discuss his book, The Dim Hypothesis. Now, The Dim Hypothesis is really heavy reading. It's a book where Leonard Peacock explains how there are 3 major modes of philosophical integration that are shaping Western civilization today. The first mode of philosophical integration is what Peacock calls disintegration, which is based on the Kantian tradition that says reality is unknowable. The second mode of integration is what Peacock calls integration, which is based on the Aristotelian tradition that says reality is knowable through perception and reason. And the third mode of integration is what Peacock calls misintegration, which is based on the tradition of Plato, which says reality is knowable, but only through a non-rational means. And you usually see misintegration in the culture. It usually comes in the form of mysticism and religion, which says that reality is knowable through faith, through God, through divine revelation. Peacock goes on to predict that if America does devolve into a dictatorship, that it's most likely to be a religious dictatorship as a result of misintegration in the culture, saying that cultural trends are already headed in that direction. And for those who are not ready to dip into the dim hypothesis, I brought up this YouTube video, which is a clip from Leonard Peacock's radio show from 1995, where he talks about how the 2 prevailing schools of thought on epistemology are skepticism, which says that reality is unknowable, and mysticism, which says that reality is knowable, but only through a non-rational means, and their impact on the culture. So if you're not ready for dim hypothesis, I highly recommend checking out this video. But bringing it back to Kanye West, judging by this interview, one could conclude that at the very least, Kanye West is a symptom, he is a sign of misintegration in the culture, and perhaps at worst, Kanye West could potentially be an usher for America into the Dark Ages. And with that said, I think it's time that we check out what Kanye West has to say.
Before I found Christ and gave my life to God, I would try to lean on my own understanding. And that's the universe.
He would try to lean on his own understanding, folks.
Is like a black hole.
Listen to that again.
On Christ and gave
Before he found Christ and gave himself to God,
I would try to lean on my own understanding.
Try to lean on his own understanding.
That's the universe is like a black hole of information.
But the universe is a black hole of information.
Your own understanding. Meaning, when people ask Einstein, said, "You're the smartest person, what would you like to know?" Einstein's response was, "I'd like to understand the mind of God." Meaning God is all-knowing, and we can only know or see. And for me, as a visionary, we can only know or see what God allows us to see.
We can only know or see what God allows us to see.
We're ready to see and understand. The Daily Mail.
Only if we're ready to see and understand. So some of you guys might be thinking at home, might be thinking to yourself, but Kirk, come on. Kanye West is just another crazy Hollywood celebrity. Does anyone really take him seriously? And I would say that this is what makes Kanye West appealing. Kanye West, throughout this interview, he talks a big game about values and achieving happiness and mental health. And whether you like Kanye West or not, again, Kanye West has had a very successful career. He has lots and lots of money. He has a beautiful family. He definitely gives off the appearance and impression that he lives an awesome life. And there are probably a lot of people, particularly Kanye West's fans, who are looking for answers. They're looking for ways to better understand the world and how to navigate through life. Then they might see someone like Kanye West and think to themselves, hey, what's this guy's secret? And according to Kanye West, the secret is mysticism. The secret to life is God. Give yourself to God so that you can better understand the universe and navigate through life.
Post a swimsuit pic or something and deters our energy to what we have to do collectively to help our brothers and sisters. You know, I look at society as one body. These people just...
He looks at society as one body. Again, this is a guy with political ambitions. He wants to be the president, and he sees society as one body. A notion that began with, or at the very least was popularized by, who other than Plato? With his organic theory of the state, which says that the masses of people are to the state as cells are to the human body. You know, you as an individual, I mean, you're just a member of the state. And it's up to philosopher kings to figure out how to maintain and heal this body that is called society. And how would Kanye West, how would someone like Kanye West, who again has political ambitions, he wants to be a leader, how would he heal and preserve this wonderful body that's called society?
To see what it looks like to overcome the smoke screens of public humiliation, of bankruptcy. I was in debt. The fear of loss, I lost my mom, or the fear of death. You know, what other fears?
And how did Kanye West overcome that?
Are there? There's a lot of fears. But the thing is, when
a lot of fears,
like even in the schools, you remove prayer, you remove God, you remove the fear of God, you create the possibility of the fear of everything else. But watch this. If you instill the fear of God, you eliminate the fear of anything else. And it's not that I am fearless. I am literally shaking and in so much fear of my Father. I fear God and I don't fear nothing else.
He fears God and he doesn't fear anything else. So what's the implication? This is what happens when you kick God out of the schools. Then kids begin fearing reality. So let's bring God back into the schools and teach them that it's good to fear God, because then you don't have to deal with the real world, folks.
What can possibly go wrong?
I mean, how else can one deal with the real world other than through God? I mean, reason and leaning on our understanding of the universe, that's out the window. The only way to know reality is through God. Better to fear the known than to fear the unknown. Now, at a point in this interview, Kanye West does say that faith is the opposite of fear, but I would ask, what does he mean by faith, other than fear in God? Either way, the proper way to live your life is through faith and fear in God.
I don't know when, the difference. I'm like a terrible speller, and I believe that there's like curriculums that are European curriculums that don't even apply to our genes of, who we are as people, like African descent people. We don't even talk like that. Like, this is a skill set, but I'm still talking white, basically. Like, you'll see like a black pastor, give this amazing like sermon, or like marry someone. I was at a wedding, and this guy, they said, wow, he speaks so well. Well, what do you mean well? He speaks super white? Like, that's what the definition of well.
Right.
Is.
It just sounds that you're using to communicate ideas.
Yeah, so the ability to communicate is apparently predicated on genetics, according to Kanye West. Of course, this ridiculous statement is clearly self-refuting, considering that Kanye West uses what he calls a European language to communicate this notion. And Rogan says that, yeah, it's just sounds to communicate ideas. Yeah, language is a code of visual auditory symbols that serves the function of converting concepts into mental concretes. Your ability to use language to communicate is not predicated on genetics. It is a tool that people of all creeds and colors are capable of grasping, learning, and using. But who knows? Maybe God gave Kanye West the strength to overcome his genetics so that he could understand English. Anyway, why won't religion go away? I often see seculars and atheists wonder and ponder why religion still exists and why religion still has an influence on the culture. You know, why don't people just believe in the science? How can so many smart people accept the existence of God without the evidence? And I would argue that people like Kanye West are a reason why religion still exists. Again, Kanye West is someone who has career success, wealth, fame, beautiful family, and he speaks with confidence. And as you can see, Kanye West credits God for helping him understand the universe and navigate through life to the point where he's at now. Ridiculous as it may be, what Kanye West offers may sound appealing to people who are curious and who are looking for answers. And I would add that what Kanye West offers here may be more appealing to a lot of people than the schools of thought that are popular amongst atheists and seculars, like skepticism, which says that reality is unknowable, or determinism, which says that you don't have control over your own mind, thoughts, and actions, or Marxism, which says that happiness is unattainable under our oppressive capitalist system. You guys think that anybody in their right mind would want any of that bullshit?
No, of course not.
And Kanye West is not alone here. We've seen the growing popularity of people like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and institutions like Prager University over the years. And until seculars and atheists and open-minded liberals and the pro-science crowd offer better alternatives, perhaps even stop pussyfooting around and embrace the one mode of integration that says reality is knowable through reason and that achieving happiness should be the primary focus of your life, people are going to keep turning to Kanye West and Jordan Peterson and Prager University and God for answers.